Hello and welcome to Renthusiast, my YouTube channel about Porsche ownership, and today I'm coming to you from my 1995 Porsche 993, and the topic of this video is aftermarket seats to put in your 993. I did a video, a kind of an introductory video about this project where I took you guys to the shop that's helping me out with this work, a shop called Sunderworks in Cornelius, North Carolina, and in that video I interviewed the owner, Dave. We talked about the seat selection. We talked about how you guys, viewers, should think through what kind of aftermarket seats you want in really any of your 911s. And then we talked about the color selection, the material selection that I've engaged in for this 993. That was episode 1, and in this, episode 2, I'll talk to you guys a little bit about the finished product. I couldn't be more thrilled with how these seats have turned out. So in this video, not only will I share with you guys like my initial impressions and what these things are like to ride in, but I also had the chance, when I was down at Sunderworks picking these things up, I had a chance to sit down with a guy by the name of Ernest, who is the upholstery person who actually built these seats. And this dude has been doing that work, I want to say, for like 38 years. I would say he's a master craftsman. I don't know about you, I'm just always interested to know more about like kind of behind the scenes, how this stuff is done. All right, here we are with my rewrapped Recaro Sportster seat. Gonna put this in my 993, and I've been documenting this process, this adventure, this journey, and I am here with Ernest, the extraordinary craftsman who actually does this work here. And as a Porsche person, I've always been, outside of being a customer, I've always just been very fascinated with the process of deconstructing and reconstructing a seat. So I thought I'd ask Ernest just to talk us through, like, what went into making this seat, man? Tell us.
A few different things went into this one. We did a little bit of pattern changing here in the top section, where we took like an existing headrest section that had multiple channels in it. Once it's tore apart, it looks something similar to this, and then kind of made it our own thing. And now we have the single channel, and that's, you know, getting into more like this, whereas in the old stock center section here didn't have any of this in it. It was a, you know, a solid piece, and now we've taken it and then kind of made it our own too, and changed the whole pattern.
So with those patterns, and this could be just a foolish question, I mean, do you like make these things? Are they provided to you? Or talk me through that stuff there.
We'll take the cover off the seat, cut the cover completely down, do any changes that need to be done to the existing seat when we get it from the factory, or an existing cover that was already on a previous seat on an older seat. And if there's changes that need to be done, we'll do that in our patterning that we'll take from the existing seat.
Gotcha. Okay, so this seat, I have some footage that I'll put up of the seat in its original form, which was admittedly very hideous. It was like the cheapest one you could get.
Well, that's how you get it from Recaro.
That's right. So talk me through the process of actually pulling that cover off without damaging the seat or the foam or anything.
It's around the back side of the seat, right here in this channel. There's a rubber that actually flips and sticks in and has some metal clips that holds it in tension spots. So we'll pull that up real easy, not to scar any of the material on the back of the seat. And then on the inside, it's a various of hog ring channels here that have little plastic clips, the newer style. And then all these sections here are all Velcroed in. So you have to be careful taking all that apart, not to rip the Velcro out of the cover.
Gotcha. All right, so now I want to know about like the stitching process.
All that's done by hand. That's done
Really?
by us on the sewing machine.
Okay, on the sewing machine, and so you do that work also?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you cut the pattern.
Cut our pattern out,
and then you
foam
stitch
everything that needs to be foamed. Anything that needs to be existing leather with no backing on it, we'll leave. And then once it's sewed together, then we'll sew our border stitch on everything, whether it's a single border stitch or a double.
Okay, how many years you been doing this?
38.
Okay.
Something like that.
So was this a one-shot deal for you? Or
oh no, I've done probably between 48 and 50 sets of these seats alone, this Sportster CS.
Gotcha. So when you were in this project doing this for me, are there any points in time where like there was a mistake made and you had to hit the reset button and start over? Or for you, is it just, man, it's so memorized now, you can do it perfect every time?
It's never perfect. We'll never get anything perfect. I mean, you got to deal with spots in the leather. Well, there's, You know, you might run across a barbed wire mark or
Yeah.
something like that, or a swoosh in the hide where they tanned it or something like that. But a hide is never going to be perfect. So we try to get them as close to perfect as we can, but you know, comes out
Well,
all right.
I'm excited. The quality of this leather is awesome. I mean, the craftsmanship here is great, and we've already we put one of these in the car already, and they're going to look fantastic, man. So, Ernest, thank you for telling me about this.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Okay, here are the seats in the car. I went with a black and tan motif, if you will. As I talked about in the previous video, I wanted to go with a stock vibe. Now, I'm sure I will get criticized for that because these seats are in no way, shape, or form stock. But when I say stock vibe, what I meant is I wanted to stick with the color scheme that matched the rest of the interior. This, for some reason, leather shows up a little bit oddly on this camera. So I don't think that what you're seeing here is an actual true representation of how these seats appear color-wise to the naked eye. But I will assure you that they are an almost a perfect match for, you know, the vinyl and the original leather that the comfort seats came in. One unfortunate aspect of these seats that I will admit are these holes here. They're meant for the 5-point harnesses to come through. These are kind of race seats. And so that's not, I think that detracts from a period correct look. But I think the rest of the look really works with the interior of the car. Now, this car right here has these black accents, right? Like the door caps, the dash, the lower dash. And so I thought it would be cool to retain the black hardbacks. And I mean, I don't know if you guys are going to agree with me, but I think it's a fantastic look. It breaks up the interior, it picks up the black accents, and so I don't know, I'm just really, really, really pleased with how these look. All right, here we are. My newly wrapped Recaro Sportsters are in the car, and I'm sitting here with Dave Van Epps, owner of Sunderworks, and I thought Dave could talk us through these seats and maybe just give us a backstory on how they got into the car.
Will, I think these came out just absolutely fantastic. As we discussed in this last video, we obviously were very focused on making the match terrific, and it is great. Everything just seems to blend beautifully with the existing interior of the car. Love the fact that we got the black. We kept the hardbacks black. We didn't paint those a different color, which ties in with the rest of the dash, the knee pad, all the rest of the black accents in the car. I think one thing that your listeners should be aware of, and you might have featured this in another video, is these, while they do fit nicely in the car, they bolt in. It's not just, you know, you don't need just a single tool or something. You're going to need a little bit of modification to get these in a car. These rails that are in these 911s and this 993 are, you know, part of the body of the car, and the mounting points on the back of on the bottom of these Sportsters are slightly different. The rails need a little bit of modification to bolt up. And then the other thing you need to be cognizant of is the clearance as the seat moves forward and back. And the knobs that are on the side of these Sportsters sometimes can interfere a little bit with the rocker as you're getting in, so you don't get quite as much rear travel. But that can either be modified depending on the height, your height as a person, with a different knob that goes on the end, or in your case, obviously we just set the seat the way you want it, slide it back to its furthest back location, and then it's adjusted and ready to go, and you're gonna set it once and forget about it. So I think they look fantastic in the car. Definitely OEM plus is the way I would describe these for sure.
Yeah, man, I am super excited. As we've shared in previous videos, I have experience with these seats. They're second to none in terms of comfort, in terms of support when you're ripping. And I think that we made a good choice here with this color, and this leather is so soft. So, man, thank you so much. And any of you out there that are thinking about doing seats, definitely contact Dave at Sunderworks. I will put the contact info below in the description.